In fact, WNBA players are not underpaid at all. They are, if anything, vastly overpaid.
After a lengthy pause, Kate Martin speaks up about the Dirt Queen DJ Carrington's string of hard plays. What did she say? Is this the beginning of a vendetta? Today, we'll talk about how people responded to the situation. DJ's play is excessive and inappropriate, but since we are all unique, let's take a moment to consider other people's perspectives before moving on. I would appreciate it if you could do me a small favor. Please take a moment to like this video if you enjoy this WNBA content, and become a channel subscriber.
The WNBA and its players are closing in on an opt-out date for their current collective bargaining agreement. The CBA is essentially an agreement that sorts out what percentage of money goes to the players and at the end of the day decides what their salaries will be. And if the players union does opt out, the current CBA, which was set to expire in 2027, will still be in effect next season, so the two sides have a year to come to an agreement.
Is Matt Walsh correct? Are WNBA players truly compensated, or is he only creating drama to get clicks? Although it may seem ludicrous at first, the statistics supporting his assertions are raising eyebrows throughout the sports world. From Wales' assertion that Caitlin Clark is the only player worth a lot of money to the league's enormous financial losses, this controversy is raging, and we're going to put an end to it.
If the players and the league can't come to an agreement, then a lockout will happen.
Harsh, but this is where things go difficult. Some fans are furious, accusing Walsh of being misogynistic and inciting drama just to earn hits. Others are silently concurring that a league can only last so long when its costs greatly exceed its income. Walsh is pressuring people to have difficult conversations that the WNBA most likely doesn't want to have.
Opting out isn't just about bigger paychecks. It's about claiming our rightful share of the business we built, improving working conditions, and sharing a future where the success we create benefits today's players and generations to come. We're not just asking for a CBA that reflects our value, we're demanding it.
Let's begin with the bold gamble of the NBA. It's a high-stakes maneuver, especially for a league already facing serious financial difficulties, as the players recently chose to opt out of their existing collective bargaining agreement, thus telling the league to make the payment or face a work stoppage. Can they afford to take this chance?
Also chimed in and said that she would love to see teams have the ability to have a $1 million player.
These athletes are demanding a complete revamp with higher salary, better benefits, and better facilities, not just a little pay increase. If a new agreement cannot be agreed before the end of the 2025 season, a full-scale strike may shut down the league. We are discussing a total overhaul of their working circumstances.
We are not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it. So that's a huge misconception.
That's a huge misconception.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah, because every video is like, oh, this person gets paid this person gets paid that, right?
So I want to be really clear about that. Like, I don't think I should get paid the same as LeBron.
Right.
But the percentage of revenue, like, for example, they sell my jersey in Mandalay Bay, I don't get a dime.
You don't get any money from jersey sales?
That's crazy.
Let's talk about hard figures now. NBA rookies make millions of dollars right out of the draft, while the top WNBA salary is about $250,000. Star players like Breanna Stewart are pushing for the league to permit $1 million contracts, which would be a huge increase from current salaries.
Keeping in mind, salaries were going to go up after the new media rights deal started, and they got a little while before that starts. It's not going to be next year, but they couldn't wait for that. That media rights deal is sizable, all right? The league is set to possibly pull a profit for the first time ever because of that media rights deal.
And the NBA's glitzy new media rights agreement with Disney, which pays $200 million annually. NBC and Amazon Prime. Although the agreement is revolutionary, players want their piece of the action now and don't want to wait for the money to come in. One of the league's most outspoken stars, Kelsey Plum, said it succinctly.
The WNBA is set to lose $40 million.
This demand for higher compensation has generated a contentious discussion. While some supporters are supporting the players and saying that these demands are long overdue, others are dubious and contend that a league that has trouble making money just cannot afford greater salaries. The facts don't lie, and Matt Walsh, who never backs down from controversy, fueled the flames by implying that WNBA players are already overpaid considering the league's financial deficits. Even with the new viewership arrangement, the WNBA is losing money and profitability is still a long way off. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and the stakes are extremely high. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of this heated argument. Walsh's outspoken viewpoint has fueled an already raging fire, with many asking whether the league can justify any rises at all.
Caitlin Clark, even with Angel Reese, the league lost $40 million this year. $40 million. All right, keep that in mind. So this league is not operating on a profit.
You won't believe it, but the WNBA just revealed a whopping $40 million loss for the season. Take a moment to consider that. $40 million wasted in a single year, and realize that this isn't a novel issue. The WNBA has been losing money for nearly 30 years. Yes, since its founding in 1997, the league has never made a profit.
And NBA investors are actually starting to get irritated. It's about time.
I understand what you're thinking now. It seems like the WNBA is living in two separate worlds. Hold on a second. What about all the Caitlin Clark hype? There have been record-breaking crowds and TV ratings this season, and you're exactly correct, from filled arenas to viral moments. While there is a lot of excitement and a growing fan base, NBA owners are left scratching their minds and their wallets due to the financial collapse.
And of all owners to actually be sort of a hero on this, it is James Dolan. One of them, of course, from the Knicks, that is asking a lot of questions right now, and evidently a lot of other owners are sort of happy that he's taking this bullet.
Speaking of NBA owners, they're no longer keeping quiet about this. These men have been contributing millions of dollars to a league that seems to spend money more quickly than it brings in, and now their patience is wearing thin. Can you really blame them? They have been the WNBA's financial backbone, and despite their investment, the league is still losing money.
So the NBA provides the WNBA with an annual endowment of over $15 million. This financial support helps to cover various operating costs for WNBA teams, including facilities, travel, marketing, and administration. As of 2023, the NBA owns 50% of the WNBA, while the 12 WNBA teams collectively own the other 50%.
James Dolan, the owner of the New York Knicks, is leading the charge. Say what you want about Dolan's standing in the sports world, but when he starts to ask questions, people listen. He is allegedly pressuring NBA Commissioner Adam Silver for some direct answers regarding the WNBA's financial status. And believe me when I say that when one NBA owner speaks up, the others usually follow suit. This isn't just annoyance, it's a full-on demand for transparency.
This league, they're getting fed up. You're seeing that headline. We'll lose $40 million. NBA investors are growing impatient.
What is actually happening behind the scenes, then? It turns out that the NBA has been engaging in a financial game of hide-and-seek for years, covertly absorbing the NBA's enormous deficits into their own balance sheets, making it nearly difficult to detect how terrible things actually are.
These women are getting paid salaries to play for a league that, economically speaking, shouldn't exist. You don't have to be a financial whiz to understand that losing money for 30 years is usually a recipe for bankruptcy. The only reason the women's league stays open is that the NBA subsidizes it.
Naturally, this has caused many people to raise their eyebrows. It's as like they've been investing in a black hole with no accountability, and now NBA owners are demanding complete transparency because they're tired of signing blank checks. They want to know exactly where their money is going and who may be held accountable.
Walsh isn't just saying salaries are inflated. He's suggesting the league shouldn't even exist in its current form.
The portion that is blowing everyone's minds is right here. Many people, both inside and outside the league, are wondering whether this setup is sustainable in the long run and how much longer the NBA will be willing to subsidize a league that is consistently losing money. However, in the middle of all this financial turmoil, the story takes an even wilder turn. The NBA's support is the foundation of the NBA's entire business model. It's not just supplemental funding, it's lifeline funding. Without the NBA's millions of dollars keeping it afloat year after year, the league wouldn't even be able to keep the lights on. As the league is losing money, WNBA players are rightfully demanding more money. They want greater perks, larger compensation, and better facilities. This is going to be one of the most important moments in the history of the NBA. Will the players' gamble pay off, or is the league headed for a financial iceberg? One thing is certain, the stakes have never been higher. It's like asking for a raise when your company is on the verge of bankruptcy. It's risky, even more so. What's driving these demands? Are the players seeing the writing on the wall, or are they genuinely convinced that higher paychecks will be the magic bullet that turns the league around?
The WNBA has existed for nearly 30 years. It has never once turned a profit. According to WSN.com, a sports betting site, the WNBA generates about $60 million in revenue. For the record, an article in Vox claims that the revenue is in the $100-200 million range, which I find dubious. But either way, the NBA, by contrast, brings in $10 billion of revenue with something like $3 billion in profits. So that means that the NBA generates more than 150 times the revenue of the WNBA.
Speaking of high-stakes wagers, let's get right into the mayhem that Matt Walsh just unleashed. The man isn't holding back when he says that WNBA players receive excessive compensation. His assertion is so explosive that it's making Caitlin Clark's headlines seem mild. Walsh is not just claiming that pay are exorbitant. He is also arguing that the league shouldn't even continue to operate in its current form. This is bold, unquestionably controversial, and before you completely reject him, let's have a look at the statistics because, despite his divisive nature, Walsh might not be wholly incorrect. When compared to the NBA, a financial powerhouse that brings in billions of dollars a year, the WNBA hasn't made a dime in its nearly 3 decades of existence. The difference is so stark that it's like comparing a lemonade stand to Amazon.
The only reason the Women's League stays open is that the NBA subsidizes it. Every year, the Men's League hands millions of dollars to the women. And why do they do that? Well, so that everyone can feel good about the fact that a women's league exists.
And where does all of this money come from? The NBA has been giving the WNBA millions of dollars to keep it afloat for decades. Consider it a life support system, with the NBA paying for marketing, wages, and even day-to-day operations. Walsh has clearly called this out, saying that if a company hasn't turned a profit for this long, it might be time to shut it down.
Because although the WNBA generates $60 million in revenue, or even if it's $100 million, let's say, it makes no profit. These women are getting paid salaries to play for a league that, economically speaking, shouldn't exist. You don't have to be a financial whiz to understand that losing money for 30 years is usually a recipe for bankruptcy.
The league has placed its hopes on Caitlin Clark, the rookie star who is rewriting the rules on her own. They're counting on her to boost ratings and money, and let's face it, it's working. Clark's games are must-watch TV. Not all WNBA players are happy, despite the fact that her jerseys are selling out and she is gaining thousands of new admirers.
I mean, this league is going to make some money now, all right? But again, what happens if you push all these new fans back out? What does that do for your media rights deals? Because they only got the new media rights deals because of one player. I mean, singular, let's be honest. It's Caitlin Clark. She boosted all the ratings. She got the popularity.
The twist is here. Rather than celebrating Clark's debut and the wave of new fans she brought with her, some WNBA players and officials are treating her like an outsider, which is nearly incomprehensible. There has been noticeable opposition. Players have publicly attacked the new audience, labeling them as bandwagon fans who are ignorant of the league's history and culture. It's ironic that these so-called bandwagon fans are exactly what the WNBA needs to survive, and some players view Clark as a symbol of everything they have fought against. However, let's face it, the league's financial difficulties leave no room for pride, and as the league faces another season of losses, alienating new fans or worse, the one player who has the ability to save the league feels like self-sabotage.
She boosted all the ratings. She got the popularity. And now all your players across the league are attacking her fans, the Iowa fans, the Indiana Fever fans. Look at those Connecticut Sun players talking about Indiana Fever fans are racist. Angel Reese talking about Indiana Fever fans are racist. Caitlin Clark fans are racist. People are going to get tired of that, and they're going to be like, the hell with it. Let's let this league burn itself to the ground where it should have been a long time ago.
It's an admirable struggle, but here's the question. Players are wanting a full revamp of compensation, perks, and facilities. And guess what? All of this drama is taking place against the backdrop of players requesting better pay as the league is losing money. Walsh and numerous others are questioning how it is possible to demand more when the league is barely making ends meet.
And it looks like the league might eventually become profitable. That is, if the WNBA players, the hatefulness, the jealousy, the pettiness doesn't run off fans, okay? Because we know the way they treated Caitlin Clark, and we know the way a lot of these players have talked so badly about the new fans that have come in. Well, the new fans are what's going to make you money. So if you continue to talk badly about them, they're going to get fed up and they're going to not watch this league. They're going to leave the league, and you're back to where you were. And it sounds like owners, you better not go back to where you were.
The question now is whether the WNBA will embrace this new era or fall apart under the weight of its own resistance. On one side of the divide are the old guard, who are resistant to change and wary of new faces, and on the other side is Caitlin Clark, a player who has the ability to redefine the league if given the chance.
And you've got the factor of Caitlin Clark's getting the ever-loving hell beat out of her out there. So what happens if she gets hurt, severely hurt, knocked out of the league? Again, we were one eye poke away from a career being potentially a wrap right after it started.
You would think that everyone would support the star player who is garnering record-breaking attention, but players like Angel Ree are stirring things up, even going so far as to call Caitlin Clark's supporters racist. The WNBA is in a storm, and the Thunder are louder than ever. The league's future is on the line. Indeed, you read correctly. Rather than welcoming Clark's ascent, the league's very supporters are being alienated by people in it, and a risky game of division is being played.
WNBA players and even college players are becoming celebrities in their own right, and they are gaining so many brand deals, endorsement deals. They are able to invest in different things, and they are making millions of dollars off the court. So yes, they're using the WNBA as their anchor, as their place where they can get this visibility and this notoriety and build their celebrity, but they are able to use social media, use these brands, get all of these other opportunities off the court to supplement their income, which is right now a low-paying salary in the WNBA.
Let's not mince words. The WNBA is at a turning point in its history, and Caitlin Clark is a gold mine. Her talent and charisma are unrivaled, and her ability to draw in new fans may be the key to reviving the league. Clark's highlights alone draw in thousands of viewers, and her rise has generated unprecedented buzz. The potential for growth, increased revenue, and higher viewership is there, but some in the league view her success as a threat rather than an opportunity.
There will be a point where these players will be able to make 7 figures in their WNBA salary. Now, will this happen in the next year, 2 or 3 or 4 years? I'm not so sure about that, because what it seems like to me from my research, from just looking at this, and I am no economics major, I'm no math wizard, but it seems like the NBA is still helping out quite a bit. And the WNBA also just started paying for charter flights this season, which will cost them $50 million over this season and next, and that is revenue that necessarily hasn't come in yet. So I think with this new TV deal, with the new viewership, with the revenue that's coming in, these sold out arenas, they will start to see this profit stack up.
Not only whispers, but there is also an active backlash against Clark. Reports of bullying, subtle jabs, and even outright criticism from teammates have painted a troubling picture. This isn't just about Clark. It's also about the fans who support her. Rather than embracing these new fans, they are being driven away by accusations and animosity. It's a level of self-sabotage that makes it difficult to understand why undermine the very thing that could change the league. Although the league's financial difficulties have long been known, time is passing more quickly than ever before any significant adjustment has been made. The WNBA faces the possibility of losing the momentum Clark has built and becoming even less relevant. These next few years will determine whether the league can maintain its position in the sports world, or if it will fade into the background. Every choice, every tactic, and every mistake will matter. The league cannot afford to fumble the Caitlin Clark effect. It's their best chance at a future. Do you agree? If so, please leave a comment, subscribe, and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one. Click the video on the screen. I asked Matt Walsh, correct? Are WNBA players truly compensated? Or is he only creating drama to get clicks? Although it may seem ludicrous at first, the statistics supporting his assertions are raising eyebrows throughout the sports world. From Wales' assertion that Caitlin Clark is the only player worth a lot of money to the league's enormous financial losses, this controversy is raging, and we're going to put an end to it.